Minister, the findings of the CSO survey are in many respects deeply depressing, particularly for women and girls. They reveal a culture and a society plagued by sexual violence, even at the upper end of the scale in terms of rape and non-consensual sexual contact. The survey also reveals that we have, as a society, have a long way to go in terms of normalising and reporting of non-consensual sexual experiences by men. It is striking that only 5% of men reported such experiences over the course of their lifetime. Returning to the CSO survey, I do note the finding that the majority of adults, 78%, who experienced sexual violence at least one time in their life knew the perpetrator, with very little difference between women, 79%, and men, 75%. I want to place this firmly in the context of domestic violence and the appalling lack of services in my own constituency. If we're going to categorise violence as physical and emotional harm against women, then I believe that the failure of this and previous governments to provide women's refuge places a direct proportion of the blame at government's door, places a direct proportion of blame. The lack of a women's domestic violence refuge in Offaly and Laois for the past number of years has been totally unacceptable. Women had nowhere to go and endured terrible violence. I also want to state that if we're going to talk about violence against women, then we cannot exclude the role that something like telemedicine can play in subjecting women to forced or coerced abortions. The HSE itself implicitly acknowledged this to me in a parliamentary reply when it conceded that meeting the woman in person increases the likelihood of the provider identifying any coercion or domestic abuse. Such coercion is a form of violence against women and indeed their unborn children.